I'm Jay Miller, and this is One North Maine, BCA's magazine show. Today, we have a special episode. The Brockton Fire Department in action. We have training, we have graduation ceremonies, we have community service projects, and we have the Strand Memorial Theater. So sit back and relax and see what your community and our Brockton Fire Department have to offer. We're here at the Strand Theater Fire Memorial in City Hall Plaza. March 10th, 1941, 13 Brockton firefighters lost their lives battling that horrific blaze. 75 years later, right here at the plaza, the Brockton firefighters got together, along with the city as a whole, to remember their heroic efforts. Let's take a look.
On behalf of the Brockton Firefighters Union Local 144 and the Brockton Fire Department, I'd like to welcome you to the 75th anniversary of the Strand Theater fire that claimed the lives of our 13 brave Brockton firefighters and also injured many more on that tragic day.
But also remembering the events of that day 75 years later, and that it's so critical that we keep their memory alive and use it as a model and remembrance of the sacrifices and the risks that are taken by first responders every day. And Brockton has such a great history, and this event is a critical piece of our history. And I'm so glad that the firefighters have done such a tremendous job in marking this day every year.
March 10th, 1941, on a theater balcony that stood just feet from where we are gathered this morning, 13 brave Brockton firefighters lost their lives when the roof of that theater, weakened by the destruction of fire, collapsed on top of them. This tragedy was at the time and remains today one of the worst loss of firefighter lives in our nation's history. Each of these 13 firefighters left behind a wife and family. As a group, a total of 26 children were left fatherless. It was a day of great sadness, not only for the families of these men, but also the members of this department.
This is from the Massachusetts Senate to the family of all the 13 firefighters. In recognition of the 75th anniversary of the Strand Theater fire, where their honor, bravery, and sacrifice transcended the call of duty, And this is signed by the President, Stanley Rosenberg, and also myself and the clerk, William Weld. And God bless you, and your memories will never be forgotten, and the memories of all the firefighters will never be forgotten. Thank you.
On behalf of the House of Representatives, my colleagues, State Representative Jerry Cassidy and State Representative Michelle Dubois, I would like to say that the House of Representatives offers its sincerest recognition to all of the firefighters' families in recognition of the 75th anniversary of the Strand Theater Fire, where the honor, bravery, and the sacrifice and call to duty transcended the call of duty. And it is offered by the House of Representatives and our Speaker, Robert DeLeo. So to all the families, thank you.
At this time, we'll be beginning the reading of the names. We have Captain John F. Carroll, Ladder Company 3.
Present. Up.
Lieutenant Raymond A. Mitchell, Engine Company 4. Firefighter Matthew E. McGarry, Ladder Company 3. Firefighter Roy A. McCarrigan, Squad A. Firefighter Dennis P. Murphy, Squad A. Firefighter William J. Murphy, Squad A. Firefighter Daniel C. O'Brien, Squad A. Firefighter George A. Collins, Engine Company 1. Firefighter Frederick F. Kelly, Engine Company 1. Firefighter Martin E. Lipper, Engine Company 1. Firefighter Henry E. Sullivan, Engine Company 1. Firefighter John M. McNeil, Ladder Company 1. Firefighter Bartholomew Hurley, Ladder Company 1. At this time, we'll do the ceremonial sounding of the bell.
Order.
Our Brockton firefighters put their lives on the line every day. In addition to that, they also give back to their community. Behind me is the Boys and Girls Club of Brockton. Recently, the local firefighters teamed up with the Massachusetts Firefighters Professionals and delivered 150 coats to children in need. It's an operation called Operation Keep Warm, and it was quite a ceremony. Well, let's take a look.
Hi there, my name is Archie Gormley. I'm president of the Brockton Firefighters Local 144. And today, as you've seen, we've loaded up our fire truck, Engine 3, and our pickup truck with boxes. In these boxes contain the jackets that were so kindly purchased by not only the over 200 locals of the professional firefighters of Massachusetts. It's jackets that we were willing to donate to the children of certain communities throughout the state. It's been going on for a few years. This year we're very fortunate to be able to do that in Brockton this year. So heading down to where we're going to pass them out right now. So thank you. Our members are here, and we're so honored to be chosen as one of the communities throughout the state where we can come and deliver votes to our final kids, and hopefully stay nice and warm during the winter, and hopefully help you stay nice and healthy so your mind can work and you can do great in school. So it is our honor, and also from the over 200 locals and the professional firefighters of Massachusetts, that we're here today to hand out votes to one of the kids. Thank you very much.
We're inside the bay at Station 1 Fire Department. They do some intense training within this entire department on a daily basis. Recruits were exposed to flashover training done off of Thatcher Street. It was an intense experience inside a trailer. You'd be the judge. It was something else. Let's take a look.
The development of smoke and heat in a building to when it gets to very dangerous levels, so they can see the early signs as opposed to the late signs.
Guys are going to be down in the lower portion. A lot of firefighting is done, not like you see in the movies, but from the floor. That's where we have our most visibility. That's where it's most tenable for us as far as heat goes. So this prop is as close as we can go to get into that type of environment.
So it starts up top and then it works its way down. It starts layering lower and
Right,
lower.
exactly. So they're going to light the fire up above. The prop surrounded with a masonite product that's going to actually extend the fire. You're going to see the smoke. The guys inside will see the smoke's going to start carrying across the roof of the actual prop that they're going to be in. We tell our guys over and over again, smoke is fuel. That smoke's ignitable. It's flammable. So it's going to build those temperatures across the ceiling level there, and when it reaches its ignition temperature, all those hot gases and smoke are going to ignite. So that flame will be above the guys here, and we're teaching them about staying low and maintaining your visibility, and they're going to rotate through that process so they can all feel what that heat feels like.
What's the trailer made of?
They're Connex containers. They're all steel Connex containers. It's been cut and welded. We maintain that different height just so we can keep our recruits below. So that's something else that, this is a training prop, that if this was a real fire that was going to flash, you can see the smoke starting to darken up a little bit now. So we're looking at 200 plus, almost 250 degrees on just the exterior steel there, and the superheated gases that are coming out. If this was really going to flash, if we were really in a room, we'd be at the same level as that fire. So we don't have the luxury of being 3 feet lower than that normally, right? But that's one of the things that we train our guys. We talk about where you want to be in a fire and where you want to be safely, and we try to work as low as we can. We can maintain our visibility. And when I say tenable, it's tenable for us with our personal protective equipment on. It's not tenable for somebody that's not after a certain amount of time. So we're sending in eight firefighters at a time. So I have 12 recruits right now in the academy, and I have a couple of active duty guys as well as a few instructors that are going through this right now.
Hey, what if they stand up too long?
This will absolutely, it could be potentially fatal if somebody stands up. So the weakest point in our personal protective equipment is our masks. Our masks, they can fail at 300 degrees with direct exposure. So that was part of the 4-hour orientation this morning, is that they absolutely under no circumstances are to stand up in this prop.
So what are they down on all fours? Are they down on their knees? How does that work?
Yeah, they're going to be crawling around certain points. At other points, they're going to be down on their knees. And the fire is going to be so intense in here that they're actually taught that they can actually look up at the fire for a very short time, and then they have to shield themselves and look down to protect their masks. So if they keep maintaining looking up at the fire, their mask will actually melt away. And that would be probably instantly fatal with the superheated gases that they would breathe in.
Are they using any water inside?
We're just going to, they do have a charge hose line in there because they're going to knock the fire back so that we can keep the rotation going so that everybody can see the flashover process. And then we have a backup hose line in case anything would go wrong with that primary hose line. But very limited water until we're ready to actually put it out.
And then what happens when they exit the trailer?
So they're going to exit, they're going to come out, obviously the superheated temperatures, they're so heated that they're not allowed to touch themselves, because if they touch themselves through their gear, they'll actually have that handprint on their skin, like a sunburn, similar to a sunburn. So much, the heat gets so intense in there that their sweat is actually going to evaporate, and they could get a steam burn if they're in too much contact with their skin. So they're going to come out, they're going to cool off, somebody's going to disengage their regulator from their mask. We're going to let them cool off for a couple of seconds, then we're going to dress them down, and we're going to bring them over to a rehab area where they can hydrate. We want to make sure nobody gets dehydrated. On a cool day like this with the breeze, we're actually worried about their sweat making them cold, so we have to worry about hypothermia, so we need to protect them from that. Here in Brockton, we run our own drill school. There's a many month-long wait to run firefighters through a drill academy. Brockton's been doing their own forever. It's something that we've maintained, and we can do a lot here. We can tell them all about our Brockton operation, and we're an aggressive interior fire department. We can teach them our skills and our operations, but there's some things that are beyond our capabilities due to finances more than anything else. Live fire, for example, this process and this prop. We go up to Stowe several times during the academy. We were up there last Wednesday for a live burn day, where the recruits got to go in and put out multiple fires in the state burn building. They're going up tomorrow for a flammable gas practical, where they get to actually extinguish flammable gas fires. So we work very closely with the Mass Fire Academy, and when these guys get their certification, they'll be certified through the Mass Fire Academy.
What kind of debriefing do you have after this event today? Do you get back to the classroom? Do you debrief?
Yeah, sure. We want to keep these guys, these guys are in week 11 of the process here. They're going to be graduating and out on the street in a couple of weeks. They're getting to a point where they're comfortable and have learned the equipment and the techniques. And this brings it back to a level where it makes it a little more real for them. we can train them, but it's still a controlled environment. So, one of the things that we want to preach to them is that, we can't control everything out on the street, so we need them to be prepared for any situation. So we'll certainly go back and talk about how quickly this happens now, and the reality of this is that firefighters face a flashover situation now more than ever before in history. I mentioned to you before that, we went from a situation with legacy furniture, furniture from the 70s and 80s, where a room wouldn't flash over for 20 or 25 minutes. Now with the newer furnishings, they're all petroleum-based. The carpeting's petroleum-based, that we're having rooms flash in 3 to 4 minutes. And like I said, when it's a confined space and that room flashes, you get tremendous amounts of heat, and it's unsurvivable over a very short period of time.
We're here with Chief Mike Williams. Chief, walk us through when you were first coming up.
30 years ago when I started, we did our own academy here in Brockton, and the only aspect that we didn't get that these firefighters are getting today is the live fire aspect of what it's like to go in a burning building. The heavy heat conditions from ceiling level down, the heavy smoke that they encounter. It basically makes vision, there is none. You can't see because of the smoke, and then you get a good sense of what the heat inside is like.
This is excellent. This is an opportunity, instead of going out to Stowe, have your training coming right here to Brockton.
We've had tremendous relationship with the Fire Academy. They've always helped us out any way they can, bringing any of their props, like this burn trailer down here today. They've been fantastic helping us out along those lines.
And you have 12 recruits that are going to be graduating very soon.
Correct. Probably in about a week and a half, if everything goes well. We're looking at the end of next week for their graduation.
Yeah. Is this your first graduating class, or is this?
It is. No, this is my first. So it's exciting. Exciting on many levels.
Do you have a speech ready?
Not quite yet, but I'll be working on it.
So, how does this happen? How does the Mass Fire Academy? What do they contact you and say? Hey, we have the equipment, we have the manpower. We're going to come out your way.
Well, luckily, Deputy Albanese is handling this drill school, but in the past, Deputy Nardelli did a fantastic job. He really built a lot of relationships with the Mass Fire Academy that we still rely on today. As I said before, they've been super in helping us out with our drill school. They set up a classroom training session that precludes the training they're doing today. There's all kinds of book work and classroom work that needs to be done before they can enter this fire trailer.
...2016 is going to be a great year for the Brockton Fire Department. Recently, they had 12 recruits go through their entire training program and graduate. We were there for the ceremony, and those 12 graduates, they enjoyed themselves and then jumped right into the proverbial fire as Brockton firefighters. Let's take a look at that fantastic event.
Thank you all for joining us here today on this very special day for our 12 newest firefighters and their families. I would like to commend Deputy Chief Albanese and his staff for all of their hard work over the past 3 months in preparing these firefighters for all of the challenges that lie ahead of them. I would also like to especially thank Mayor Carpenter for his cooperation in this hiring process. Our budget was originally planned to hire 10 firefighters. Because of the efforts of Mayor Carpenter, we were able to extend that number to 12. So thank you, Mayor.
It was just a couple weeks ago that outside City Hall we commemorated the 75th anniversary of the Strand Theater fire. And I think it reminds us that no matter how much the world has changed over the last 75 years, what hasn't changed, whether it was 75 years ago at the Strand Theater or if it was 15 years ago at the World Trade Center, is that the firefighters are running in while everyone else is running out.
But congratulations to all our recruits today. I'm very, very proud of all of you, and to all of the firefighters and their families as well. This is a profession that you give of the very, very most of you. You put yourselves in danger for your brothers, your family, your neighbors, your friends. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your service.
But remember, common sense takes over on everything. Be careful what you say and do out there. You reflect not only your family, you reflect the department and the union. So be very careful what you say and do. On another note, on behalf of President Ed Kelly, President of the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, and our General President of the International Association of Firefighters, we want to welcome you to the larger family. So again, welcome to your local, to your department. Wish you all the wealth and health and everything that goes along with it. Remember, you are the best right now. And keep that up. We need you.
We're going to present the citations from the State House, from the Senate and the House of Representatives.
It's signed by the Senate President and the Secretary and myself, and it's congratulations and recognition of your graduation from the Brockton Fire Department recruit class of 2016. I'm getting old there, so thank you. Congratulations.
One from the House of Representatives as well, from Representative Michelle Dubois, Jerry Cassidy, and myself, and signed by Speaker Robert DeLeo, so congratulations.
Firefighter Christopher Anderson will be pinned by his wife Tara, his son Seth, and his daughter Sydney. Firefighter Zachary Davis will be pinned by his father, Brockton Deputy Fire Chief Charles Davis, and his brother, Firefighter Charles Davis III. Firefighter Francis Madden will be pinned by his wife Courtney and his father, Mark Madden. Firefighter Jordan Duguay to be pinned by his mother, Trudy Duguay. Firefighter Christopher Capazzoli to be pinned by Brockton firefighter Brandon Wynn. Jonathan Colon to be pinned by his brother, Brockton police officer Richard Colon. Firefighter Brian McLean to be pinned by his wife, Amaryllis. Firefighter Ryan O'Keefe to be pinned by his daughters, Madison and Kyla. Firefighter Johnny Barnes to be pinned by his mother, Tony. Firefighter Robert Orcutt to be pinned by his father, retired Fire Lieutenant Roger Orcutt. Firefighter Joseph Thompson to be pinned by his father, Joe, and his mother, Carol. Firefighter Ryan Costa to be pinned by his father, Captain Richard Costa. Again, thank you for coming. 2016-01, you're dismissed.
Wow, the Brockton Fire Department does a little bit of everything, don't they? What an incredible group of people, and we are lucky to have them here in the City of Champions. To learn more about Brockton Community Access, visit our website at bcatv.org. You can also check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/the Brockton Channels, all one word. For everyone in 1 North Main, I'm Jay Miller. Finally, we'd like to thank the Brockton Fire Department for all of their access and their wonderful work. We'll see you around town.